Episode 9 is often described as a film that will have many different emotional moments in the movie for some of the main characters like Luke, Kylo Ren, Rey, and a whole lot more by writer and director J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, I will say that I am really excited and fascinated about this movie when it comes to Episode 9, mainly because this is going to be the film that will bring a close to the Skywalker saga, and that Disney and Lucasfilm are really treating this movie as a course correction technique. This movie really is going to be basically a film that will define the future of the Star Wars franchise. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with one of the set designs that involved, of course, Mark Hamill, and of course tidbits of Harrison Ford. Now, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it's described that one of the plans for a flashback sequence in the film involved the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon set piece. It's described that Mark Hamill was on board and was sporting a black robe with no beard and short hair. It was said to be one of the final scenes he shot where they will attempt to insert unused footage of Harrison Ford from The Force Awakens as Han Solo, and insert Harrison Ford as Han into the scene with Luke. It's described that the sequence will be very difficult to mesh together and will require many man-hours to complete the task. It's said that Hamill was behind a green screen inside the set of the Falcon for some of the shots. Some additional shots needed a younger actor to play the body of Han, where Harrison's face will be placed on for some of the close-up sequences. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that JJ is very ambitious about this movie, and he really wants to do some pretty big and special things for all of the legacy characters like Luke, Leia, Lando, Chewbacca, of course, everybody that a lot of people grew up with in the original trilogy. Now, when we look at the whole entire concept of flashbacks, I know that a great deal of people out there don't necessarily accept the fact about flashbacks being a part of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and a whole lot more now in Star Wars Episode 9. Now, the thing here is this: we do know that JJ is also trying to bring in a reunion between both Han, Luke, and Leia. However, in this particular sequence, they're using unused footage of Harrison Ford as Han Solo from The Force Awakens and inserting him inside the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Now, one of the sequences involved Mark Hamill without his beard, sporting a black robe inside the actual set piece of the Millennium Falcon, where he was actually placed in front of a green screen for some of the sequences. Now, I gotta say, it's described that this is going to be a very difficult scene to put together when it comes to, of course, the new footage that was shot for, of course, actor Mark Hamill, and splitting that and basically meshing it together with the old footage from The Force Awakens of Han Solo, portrayed by Harrison Ford, as well as bringing in a young actor's body in order to play the character of Han and sit in the pilot's seat and replace the head with Harrison's face from unused footage of The Force Awakens. So you can really see that JJ is really trying to do something very special with this movie. He's trying to, I guess you could say, fix elements of the sequel trilogy. One of the biggest complaints about the sequels is that we never got to see both Luke, Han, and Leia, or just Luke and Han, at that, together on the same exact, set, or together within the same exact movie, face to face. We never got to see that in the sequel trilogy, and honestly, in my point of view, that was one of the big mistakes that Disney and Lucasfilm made in The Force Awakens. If anything, they could have done a flashback in The Force Awakens. They could have easily done that while Harrison Ford was still signed on for Episode 7. They do have a lot of footage with Leia, in case you guys were wondering. They have a ton of footage of Carrie Fisher as Leia from The Force Awakens, a lot of abandoned scenes and concepts that never made it to the actual final cut of the movie. So, the same exact thing most likely applies here with the character of Han, where they're going to use a lot of dialogue from The Force Awakens, as well as the original trilogy, by the way. That's another technique that they are doing in order to fulfill some of the dialogue in Episode 9 between both Luke and Han Solo in the flashback sequence when they're on board of the Millennium Falcon. So with that being said, we can also pretty much say that JJ really wants to create these emotional sequences that's really going to hit the hearts for the fans around the world, that'll get people talking and making this movie an instant classic. As long as JJ can do this, and as long as it feels authentic and genuine and not pushed or forced in there too much, or shoehorned, if you will, I think then and only then it'll work. You know, you can always tell a person's work if it's very much genuine and if there's a lot of passion that goes behind it. And as long as he does that, I think that fans will really connect with the sequence if it's done correctly. Now, it's a sequence that is described to be very difficult to mesh the footage together, and I can totally understand that. I can only imagine how hard it is to really do that flawlessly, you know, without seeing any kind of errors here and there, or color differences, or just things that are off, right? Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.